Welcome to Double Coverage. This is the AL West. Oh, God. This is happening. It's the AL West preview. This is a train wreck. This is just sorry. Let's go ahead and let's start in Oakland just because I don't really want to talk about Texas yet. 75.5 for the Athletics, who if you look at it, the only real big offseason acquisition was adding Stephen Piscotty. Otherwise, if you look at the lineup and look at the rotation, it's to say it contently, piss poor. Piss poor. They are at 75.5 games. What are you thinking?
Oakland's one of those teams where you always pick them when they have that low number. For some reason, somehow, some way during the season, it's like every money ball kicks in.
Yeah.
Who in the world figured these people would ever do this? I mean, how did y'all put this lineup together?
Yeah,
but but at the same note, they don't have those same type of players as they did back then. So I'm gonna have to go under with the Oakland A's.
All right, this is an Athletics rotation that includes Kendall Graveman, Sean Manaea, Daniel Gossett, Daniel Mengden, and Andrew Triggs. I think that's coming to. That might be actually better than worse than the Ranger rotation, just because the Rangers actually have Cole Hamels.
Right.
That's literally the only thing that's saving that. Chris Davis always going to be good. Crush Davis is always going to wind up probably hitting 40 home runs a year. But other than that, there's really no bright spots besides Stephen Piscotty in this lineup, and maybe if you want to include Marcus Semien.
All right.
75.5. It's too high. It's too high. I mean, if that's really the case, that means if they get to 75, that means they were only 7 games under 500. And if I'm just saying that I think that they're bottom 5 team in baseball.
Well, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Is Piscotty there after the All-Star break?
Well, he just got there from St. Louis, so that's the good question, actually. I mean, they obviously couldn't be attached to him. So,
right.
Chris Davis is actually the one that I would be looked to be trading.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, somebody's going to need a bat.
Yep.
So
stay healthy.
Unders? Under on 75.5?
Yes, under. Easy. Under, yeah.
All right. Oh, God. Let's go. This one's going to be fun. Let's go to the Texas Rangers. Dumpster fire. A team that less than a decade ago was competing for a World Series and in 2 of them. 1 strike away from a World Series ring. But now you field the rotation with Cole Hamels, Matt Moore, Mike Minor, Doug Fister, and Martin Perez. And have Tim Lincecum in the farm system. Like, this team's going to be bad, right?
Can I throw a wrench in your little rotation there?
Yeah.
It won't be Martin Perez. It'll be Bartolo Colon.
Big sexy.
So Bartolo Colon will be your 5th starter on the 5th day of the rotation. And I don't know how bad it is when Doug Fister's your number 2.
No, I know how bad it is. He was my number 5 for the second half of last season.
But here's the thing about Fister. If you could just play, if the season was just 82 games, Fister would probably Cy Young candidate every year.
Yeah, because he's bad in the back half.
He's awful. I don't know what it is about the All-Star break with him, but he is awful after the All-Star break.
I mean, we saw it with the Chicago White Sox last year. Sometimes just a player or a team has a bad second half. But Fister's managed to consistently do it his whole career.
Here's the kicker with the Rangers. The Rangers are going to be almost like the same team they were last year. Their bullpen is what's going to end up killing them. Because I think that offense this year is going to put up runs. They could average around anywhere between 5.5 to 6 runs a game.
So here's the thing, right? Where are the strikeouts coming from on this team?
Well, that's a good question, and my answer would be he hasn't done it yet, and I don't know what's going to make me think that he is going to, but I'm hoping that when Martin Perez gets healthy, he becomes a better pitcher.
You would hope so, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, this is a Ranger farm system with, well, as we noticed yesterday, malnourished kids. But I mean, they definitely have some talent in that farm system. I think, does this team? I know it's at 77.5, right? But does this team get to 70?
I'm going to say no, just because of health. But if Adrian Beltre can stay healthy all year, then I think they can get to almost 80. I think they maybe can finish 82 and 82 if Beltre is healthy all year.
That's a big if, considering
it is.
I mean, the entire. What's up?
But because not only is he affecting you on the offense, that's Mr. Vacuum on at third base.
Right.
So he can, as many runs as he's going to give you, he can take away on the defensive end.
Yeah, he saves. He's great when it comes to saving defensive runs.
Right.
Delano DeShields, Gallo, Andrus, Beltre, Mazara, Chu, Chirinos, Odor, Rua. How does that sound?
For some reason, I like, but this offense is going to. There's a lot of power in that offense, but there's just not. I mean, Delano. I don't know if Delano Shields is going to be able to get on base enough. And my question is, where are you going to hit Elvis? Right now, they have him in the third spot.
Right.
That seems to be a good place for him.
I would almost flip Elvis and Gallo.
You think 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. You could, but the reason I wouldn't is because I trust Elvis way more on an 0-2 count than I do Joey Gallo.
Well, Joey Gallo's never seen a ball in the dirt that he didn't like.
So, but apparently they say he's been getting a lot better at the 0-2 pitch.
Well, good.
I think last year he was like 0-40-something or 0-50-something when he's down 0-2.
Well, that's good because he was Vladimir Guerrero without the contact.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going under. I think this team wins 69 games.
I'm gonna go under too. I'm gonna say they win about 75 games.
All right, now let's go to the longest playoff drought in baseball right now. The Seattle Mariners, a team that looks great on paper every single year. It seems like they added D. Gordon. That was a big one. Ichiro's back, but I mean, you're fielding a lineup that has Gordon, Segura, Cano, Cruz, Seager, not the good one, Ryan Healy, Mitch Haniger, and Zunino, and then Ichiro. But I don't believe that that's where the problem is. I believe that the problem is in the rotation when it's Hernandez, Paxton, Leak, Gonzalez, and Miranda. Then your young stud closer and Edwin Diaz. They're at 81.5. That seems like a really good number for them.
It does.
Like, that almost seems like on the nose.
Yep.
You know, I think I'm going to say over because I think they get to 82. I know that's not a normal thing, but I think they get to 82 and I think they get to 82 games.
Yeah, they could, but like you said, it's going to depend on their rotation. That King Felix is getting older,
and it's like he's aging like Pujols is.
Yeah,
rapidly.
Right, but then he's getting very, very injury prone.
It's you know what's funny when it comes to people like Pujols and Felix? It's because they've been in the league since they were like 17 years old.
Yep.
That's what happens.
Yep.
So, I mean, like we said, we're going to keep Seattle short just because there's really nothing to talk about. I love D. Gordon. That's one of the players in baseball that I just adore.
They've got a good lineup.
Mariners, one of those teams that, again, benefited from the dumpster fire and fire sale that was the Miami Marlins. Didn't have to give up much for him either. All right, let's move on. Actually, I love this team. I've said it. I will continue to say it. I've planted my feet in the ground with the Los Angeles Angels. I think this is my second wild card team in the AL, actually. Adding Ian Kinsler and Justin Upton. Also adding Zach Cozart, which might be the biggest one out of all of them, honestly. Then you have Ohtani. What do you think about the Los Angeles Angels?
They'll be my second wild card team.
That's what I think.
I think Ohtani's strong point is going to be on the mound and not at the plate.
Right.
I think it's a little different pitching in the majors than it is hitting in the majors. So to me, it's a lot more easier to transfer your game if you're a pitcher than if you are a hitter and you've never seen major league pitching. Not to say that facing major league batters is easy, but when you have the stuff that he has, it is a lot easier.
Right, because he's got stuff.
They're going to have probably the reigning MVP. I mean, they're probably going to have the MVP of the league in Mike Trout. They're not really. They've got a good enough lineup to where even if Pujols doesn't even play 80 or 100 games or 82 games, then they'll be okay.
It might even benefit them not to play him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those teams that I would recommend go out and reach out to the Miami Marlins and say, hey, can we have JT Realmuto?
Right.
Because I just don't think Martin Maldonado is going to cut it. Realmuto is really good behind the plate, and he knows how to handle a pitching staff.
And that's crazy being the next catcher.
Yeah. Garrett Richards, if we're not including Ohtani as their ace, they also have Tyler Skaggs, Matt Shoemaker, and JC Ramirez. This is, again, one of those teams that might need to go out and get a Matt Harvey and a Chris Archer.
Yeah, and you can make the argument that they really haven't had a catcher since Napoli, and he really was only really a catcher for them for, a couple of years.
No, you're right. All right, let's go to it's 84.5. I'm going over. You're obviously going under. You're obviously going over because you have them as the wild card team, as do I. Biggest number on the board: Houston Astros, reigning World Series champs. That tastes funny. 97.5.
That team's gonna be strong.
That's a big number, though.
Yeah, but there's just so many bad teams in the American League.
Well, especially, I mean, it benefits them getting to play 38 games total against Texas and Oakland.
Absolutely, and you might throw Seattle in that equation too.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, I mean, they're in one of the weakest, if not. Well, yeah, they're probably in the second, probably weakest out of the three.
Nah, I'd give the nod to the Central.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But, yeah, I just don't see anybody beating this team. As young as
There's
they are,
no way.
as good as they are, they have the perfect mix of young and veterans.
Exactly. There's no way that this team doesn't get to 90 games. There's not a way.
Not unless everybody gets injured.
95, it's a little different because, then you're starting. That's still a big number. Still a big number.
I just don't see them have a problem getting to 95.
They have a really good bullpen. They have a really good closer in Ken Giles. I mean, Verlander, Keuchel, Cole, McCullers, Morton. That's strong.
Yeah.
Springer.
Yeah, when your third and fourth starters last year are going to be starters this year, yeah, you've upgraded.
Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Reddick, Gonzalez, J.D. Davis, Evan Gattis, Brian McCann. That's just strong.
And we got lucky because of the Rangers got lucky because they had to dump that Cedeno catcher.
Yeah.
And because they had McCann's and what's his name?
Hold on.
Evan Gattis.
Yeah.
Gattis and McCann. That's the only reason we got him because they had to dump him because they had too many catchers. They weren't carrying three catchers. He's probably going to end up being our backup catcher.
It's crazy. I mean, we said all those names, and we didn't even mention Yuli Gurriel, who's obviously starting out the season with a 5-game suspension for his incidents in the World Series with Yu Darvish.
Right.
This team's going to win the West. There's no way that this team doesn't win the West. I know that that's not what everybody wants to hear, but there is no way that this team loses the West.
Correa could sneak in there and get the MVP if everybody's not careful.
Yeah, and he was on my top 3 list for candidates for AL MVP. But the problem is, anytime that 27 in Anaheim is healthy, he's going to be top 3 himself.
Mm-hmm.
So 97.5, what you think?
97.5?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under because I think they'll hit right around 97.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over just to differentiate it a little bit. This team can very easily go over 97.5. It's just a matter of, we were talking about the Seattle team earlier in the day that won 116 games.
Yeah.
This is a team that I can see, and the only team, I believe, in the Major League Baseball that I think could challenge the 116.
Yeah.
So, well, that was the AL West. We both have the Astros, and we both have the Angels as wild card candidates. So, this has been the Double Coverage AL West preview.